This is the mixture we use for caulking the boat. This is the ratio, so it's 250 grams of animal fat, 100 grams of pine tar and 13 grams of beeswax. And this is a big cube of beeswax that was kindly donated to the ship's company. So we literally just whittle off sections of this with a knife and weigh this out, and that goes into the concoction. So we just whittle that down, gather that up and put that on the scales to weigh that. And here's the scales here. So we only need sort of about 13 grams of that. And then this is the pine tar that we use. You can see it's quite a runny consistency, and it smells very smoky, and it's great because it's as well as making the boat waterproof, it will also protect the wood and stop it rotting. And then we mix that all together, and we mix in the animal fat, and what we get left with when we heat it all up and melt it down is this sort of almost like mastic when it cools down, but when we warm it up it will be very runny, but you can see that's sort of the consistency that it is, and that just waterproofs the seams of the boat and makes the boat watertight.
The process of planking up requires, as a final stage, the addition of what we call caulking, which is C-A-U-L-K-I-N-G. And it's a process by which the seam between the planks is filled with a material which helps to waterproof the join between the two strakes. It's a process which is still used today, but what we're doing here is utilising a mixture which is very much based on the way in which it would have been done back in the Saxon times and thereafter. And it's a combination of animal fat, beeswax and Stockholm tar. So about 250 grams of animal fat, about 100 grams of Stockholm tar and 13 grams of beeswax, which is heated to get the consistency to allow us to apply it onto the plank. And then it's combined with a strip of natural wool, which goes into the area where the planks will overlap. So if Joe, you want to carry on stippling that out. So it's a fairly time critical process so that we get the whole strip done and the plank onto the boat whilst there's still some movement in the seams. So when the seams come together, then it cools down and hardens. Not totally, but it gets to a point whereby there's a nice consistency between the planks. And of course there's an element of gap filling in between the planks as well. So this is a woolen blanket, so it's all entirely natural products being used here, just as would have been used back in the Saxon times. The last mating place we'll do is the scarf between the preceding plank and the one we're about to fit. So same process, wet out the face, Get lots of mixed in there on that face. And then bring the material in. Right up to that edge. And then we, as before, right, I think we're ready.
Go along the length, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, shall I just put up here? Right, Richard, are you ready?
Yep.
Well, I get it on before it gets cold.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can you see your line there? You see that line? I have to come up there. A bit more. That's about it. On the line now. Oh, it's not brilliant. Yeah, we get those.
So having applied the caulking to the bottom edge of the plank, we then manoeuvre the plank into position and insert it into the scarf at that end and then lay it up against the hull where it fits into the mould stations. But what we have here is a complex issue where you've got a twist in the plank from that end at the bow where it's going into almost a vertical position. So at this end it's coming almost much more into a flat horizontal position. So we employ these suction clamps to clamp the two mating faces together. We'll also use this lever to then put the twist on the plank so it beds into that horizontal position at this end. But these suction clamps are superb for applying pressure on the mating faces of the two planks. So the simple expedient of driving the wedge into this end closes the other end with a very high degree of force which pulls the two planks together. And these These are all made by volunteers in the workshop. At the final stage, now we've got the plank into position and we're happy with its position, is to then go along and put nails and rows all the way down, starting from the scarf end down towards the stern end.